Hi guys, welcome to the Figma for Beginner series. In this video, we'll understand three important parts of Figma: layers, pages, and the properties panel. These are essential to know before you start designing anything in Figma. Let's get started. I have signed into my Figma account here now, and I will create a new design file by clicking on the design button here on the top, and it will create a new design file for me. The section you can divide it is into three parts. On the left side you see is the pages and layers panels, and then on the center is the canvas, at the bottom is our toolbar, and on the right side is our properties panel, which will change depending on the object we select. Let's start with pages on the top left over here. Pages help you organize different parts of your project. Each file can have multiple pages. Here right now we only have page 1. You can also add pages by clicking on this plus icon to add extra pages here. Pages will help you organize your design project files. For example, in page 1 you can design screens for desktop layout, and page 2 you can double click and rename it to have screens for mobile layout, and so on. Next, we have below the pages is the layers. In Figma, every element you create is called a layer. This includes shapes, text, images, and frames. Now let's create a shape. Come to the bottom toolbar over here and click on this rectangle shape. You can see I am creating a rectangle here by clicking on this and just clicking and dragging on the canvas like so. You can see it appears as a rectangle one in the layers panel. You can also double click on it to change the name of it to square or anything you like. You can also create other shapes like circles and lines. To find those other shapes, next to this rectangle tool you have a small arrow. Click on it and it will pop up a menu which shows additional tools that you can create. That includes the ellipse, arrow, line, and so on. I'll just create a circle for now. I'll click on ellipse and I will click and drag anywhere on the canvas. Right now it's not creating a perfect circle. To create a perfect circle, you need to hold down Shift on your keyboard. I'll just delete this circle layer and again I'll click on the circle at the bottom, and this time I will hold down Shift and click and drag. Now that's how you create a perfect circle in Figma. Suppose you need a perfect square, you can also just again select your rectangle tool from the toolbar at the bottom over here. Now again hold down Shift and click and drag. So it will maintain its proportionate size and it will create a perfect square for you. Next, we have frames. Frames act like containers for your design. For example, if you are designing a mobile screen or a website layout, you usually start with a frame. In other words, frame can also be called as artboards for your better understanding. Right now there is no frames on the canvas as these are just free falling objects we have created, so they are not inside any frame at the moment. Now I will put them in a frame. First let's delete them. I'll click and drag on the canvas and select all the three objects we created, and I will hit delete on the keyboard. Now let's create a frame by clicking on the frame tool at the bottom here. Once you click on this frame, on the right side, right panel, you can see we have options. We have default presets which we can use. Like I have iPhone 17. If I click on this, it will create an artboard or a frame of that iPhone 17 size. Same goes for again if you want like a desktop layout or a desktop artboard or a frame, you just click on it And here we have tablets, we have desktop below the tablet. Just click on this and it will show you different sizes of the desktop or a laptop. I can just click on desktop and it will create a desktop screen here. So now whatever you place objects inside this frame will stay inside it and not be on the canvas. So the objects will be part of this frame. Suppose I'll just delete this for now and we'll practice on this iPhone screen. To zoom, you can click on Command 0 on Mac and Control 0 on Windows. And to move around, you can also hold down spacebar and click and drag on the canvas so you can move the artboards around. Also, you can use your scroll mouse wheel by clicking on Command key on the keyboard on Mac and Control on Windows. You can also rename your frame by double clicking on this, or else you can rename by double clicking under the layers panel. The frames will have a different icon as you can see over here. So I'll just rename it to home screen. So you'll see once you write the name, it will reflect in the layers panel as well. Now let's create some shapes inside this mobile frame. I'll come up to the toolbar at the bottom and click on the rectangle tool, and I will hold down shift and click and drag to make a square. And then I'll add one more shape, a circle shape. By holding down shift, I'll create a perfect circle. Also, you need to know layers can be arranged by dragging them up or down. The order controls which elements appear on top. Right now on the layers panel, you can see the circle layer is on top. I'll just double click on this layer and I will rename it to circle, and the rectangle layer I'll rename this to square. Now let's add a color to this. To change the color of the object or the shape that you have created, click on the shape and then on the right side it will give you additional properties of this. Click on this fill box and it will pop up a color picker. You can just click and drag on the sliders to make the color of your choice. Same I'll do for the circle. I'll just use some other color, and now I'll show you how you can arrange these layers up and down. Right now if you take the circle on top, it's right now in front of the square. Here also you can see under the layers panel, inside the home frame, we have the circle on top of the layer. And if you want the square to be on top of the circle, either you can click and drag the circle layer here below the square, and there you go. On the main mobile screen, the changes you can see in effect. And another way to do send to back or bring to front is by right clicking on this object. I'll click on this square layer, I'll right click on this and I will click on send to back. So that's how you can send to back and bring to front the layers in Figma. You can also hide layers and lock layers here. You can see next to the circle layer, if I hover my mouse on the circle layer, you can see there's a lock icon. If I click on this lock, right now it has locked the circle, and now I can only click and move the circle around. I'll just hit undo, and then next to the lock icon we have a toggle layer visibility, like an eye icon. If you click on this, it will hide the layer. The circle layer is there but it's hidden and it's not visible to our eyes. To bring it back up, just click on the eye icon again, and here it is back. Again I can to unlock the layer, and if you want to unlock this layer back, click on the lock icon here. Now you can click and move around the circle and change its properties. In this video I'm just giving you a brief overview on how things are in Figma so you can get comfortable designing your first project. Now let's explore the text tool. To create a text, click on the text tool in the toolbar at the bottom and click anywhere on the canvas, and you can type hello. I just typed it here. Right now we have a text layer. You can see it under the layers panel. So once you select the text layer, on the right side you'll see the text properties over here. The properties panel changes depending on what you select. So always select an element to see its options. For the text properties, we have option to increase the fonts from here. I'll just change it to 64 so it's more visible. You can also give extra weight to this by, instead of changing to regular, you can keep it to bold or semi-bold or extra bold and so on. Also, you can even change the font face of it. You can see the changes are affecting on the canvas itself. And you can also change the color of the text as well. Under the typography, you have this fill menu here. You can just click on this and you can click and drag. And that's how you change the color of the text. In the toolbar, we have other tools also, which we'll be exploring as we go along in the future videos. We also have the pen tool to make custom shapes. We also have the plugins under the actions menu, which we will explore in future videos. So in this video, we learned about layers, shapes, frames, pages, and the properties panels. These are the essential building blocks for designing in Figma. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Figma tutorials. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.